Yo, what's up? It's Dixon. The big game's coming, and we're gonna eat local right here. I'm making a bunch of stuff for my squad. We're gonna make guacamole today. We're gonna make BBQ Butter Shrimp. We're also gonna end with a dessert, which is something I don't typically do. But today we're gonna make a chocolate-covered strawberry trifle.
Let's play some football!
Alright, so we knocked out the guacamole first and foremost. So your friends are off in the living room. It's the pregame of the big game. They're demolishing the guacamole. Now you gotta feed them something with a little sustenance. And I came up with this kind of by accident. In a weird way, it emulates the New Orleans style of barbecue shrimp. I like to call it BBQ Butter Shrimp because this is all about the butter and compounding the barbecue sauce to the butter to create a pretty dynamic sauce that stands up really well to some shrimp. So we've got some water boiling on the stove. I like to cook shrimp from frozen. It creates, for me, that texture that when you bite into a shrimp, it kind of snaps. You want like that mouthfeel of the shrimp. So just to make sure that your shrimp aren't a little, well, underwhelming, I like to add a little bit of salt, which again, palm of your hands, a tablespoon. We're gonna go with 2 solid big tablespoons of salt and a little bit of sugar. Because a lot of seafood has an inherent sweetness to it, and shrimp is definitely one of those things that has sweetness that you can add to by just putting a little touch of sugar in the boiling water. It kind of brings it out naturally. So we're not gonna use a ton. We'll do the same thing. 2 solid tablespoons. There's 1, there's 2. So now the water's boiling. We want to get the salt and sugar dissolved inside of that. And we are good with that. So today, I've got these Argentinian wild caught shrimp. And they do have, if you notice, a little bit of a different shape, a little bit of a different size. Texturally and flavor-wise, they're a little bit closer to a langostino or a lobster. It's definitely worth paying like the extra $1 a pound. With shrimp, it's easy. Once they boil and come back, you want to take and wait until the first shrimp floats. When that first shrimp floats, you're going to cut the heat off and just kind of let them sit for about 2 or 3 minutes until the rest of them start to come to the top. Because this is a 2-step cooking process, and there's nothing worse than overcooked seafood. Absolutely nothing. So we want to make sure that we get them to a point where they're about medium rare medium, because they are going to take on some more heat once we get them boiled, peeled, and then into the sauce. Alright, so our shrimp, we got a couple of floaters, so we're going to shut the heat off, let them set for a second. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drain these shrimp quickly. And the idea is to get most of the water out first before you start letting the shrimp plop out. Alright, so our pan's going to go back on, and we're going to leave it off for the time being, because we got to peel these shrimp. The easiest way to do this, do it over the sink, because there is going to be some water still in there. You just peel it off, grab them by the tail, yank them out, and there you go. Peeled shrimp. I'm going to bust out the other 16 of these, and then we'll get into making that sauce. So what we're going to start with, it's barbecue butter shrimp. Let's start with some butter. And I'm using salted butter. So instead of having to season the sauce, you can just use your salted butter. So the salted butter goes right in the pan without the wax paper. So we're going to slowly melt this down. Let some of that water get on out of there. Once we get this butter melted, which will only take typically about 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to turn the heat up a little bit and do what those in the Boston area refer to as an almost drawn butter, because we want a lot of those milk solids to kind of come and sink to the bottom. We want the water out, and then once the top of the butter isn't really foamy anymore, and you get that bright yellow color, that's when we're going to start making this compound sauce with a sweet barbecue sauce. So we're going to take the heat from what I would consider to be a medium-high to a high. And you can hear that butter start to sizzle a little bit. Again, I don't write recipes. The idea is to kind of do this to your taste, but if you really need sort of a baseline, I can give you one. It's a pound of shrimp, a stick of butter, half a jar of sauce. Again, if you've got more people, I'm feeding 4 people with this. If you have 8 people, it would be twice as much, and on and on. It's as simple as that. So our butter's ready to add the half a bottle of barbecue sauce. And it's just as easy as that. That's about a half a bottle. And remember, we're over high heat, so this could spatter, not only because of the butter, but because of the sugar. So you want to get in there and make sure you start whisking immediately. got them combined. No more separation of the butter and the barbecue. And you don't want to leave it on high at this point because you're going to get burnt. But we're going to rely on the sauce to heat the shrimp back through, cook them to doneness before we serve them. Which is a good point to just put these shrimp right back in there to soak up that sauce as they cook the rest of the way. The shrimp are back in the pan. The sauce is congealed. We no longer need the whisk. We'll switch over to a big spoon, one of my favorite things. And then you just kind of want to move the shrimp around the pan, making sure that they take on that sauce. Because we cooked the shrimp to medium rare, they have about, I would estimate, 2 minutes left to be fully cooked. So turn the heat down just a little bit and just let it go for 2 minutes. And when we come back to it, the shrimp will be perfectly cooked. The sauce will have gotten itself into the shrimp and it'll be one of the best bites I can promise you that you'll have in a while. So let's let this sit for a couple minutes. Alright, so our shrimp have basted in the sauce for about 2 minutes. We'll take the heat right off and they're done. Simple, right? All you gotta do now is find yourself a big plate, pull these shrimp out. So, these are the barbecue butter shrimp. This is Joe D, voice of the workforce. You like the seafood?
I do, I'm a big seafood guy.
So I want you to have the first taste of this. Tell me what you think.
That's really good.
Now, Argentina's not local, but we made this food local. So eat local with 95X. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, today I've got these Argentinian. Start that again. I'm gonna be in the shot.
Nice. Come on.
No, smell the shrimp out here.